Well, again, guys, and welcome back to another Big Al Devlin video, and this is part of my Big Al's Big Chest series. But of course, I'm not training chest. If I believe I'm training chest here, then I'd be a wee bit nuts. No, I'm doing, of course, legs, and that is because when you specialise in any kind of movement or any discipline, really, you can't let the other body parts go untouched. You might do a little bit less work with them. Out of necessity or out of choice, but you still got to do them to a wee bit. For those who don't realise, haven't seen my previous videos, I have actually had to give up deadlifting now because of injuries from a road traffic accident. Certainly deadlifting off the ground, at least anyway. I might try partial deadlift in the future, and of course, because of my lower back pain, I've also kind of had to not give up on squat, but I'm gonna have to take it a little bit more careful on there. So this is why I'm hack squatting. Hack squat is a mimic of the squat. It's obviously a machine or form of machine work. It's not free weights as such, but it's a very good mimic. And in fact, actually, to be honest, it's as good as the real thing. It sounds like and feels like and smells like, so to speak, squat. Then it probably is squat, right? And it is. It's a very, very good mimic of the actual squat lift. It's not as good, and nothing can beat squat but squat itself, right? But it is as close as it gets. And if you get a good hack squat like I've got here, the Precore hack squat, which is the Precore USA, which is the brand of hack squat I'm lifting on, I must admit it's one of the best hack squats I've lifted on. There's faults for it, don't get me wrong. I don't like where you have to put your hands and there's a bit of a wobble to it and all the rest of it, but I'd be a bit pedantic if I was to analyse it on those kind of things. The main thing is, does it do the job? And yes, it does. That 100 kilos that I've got on there at the moment, 220 pounds, feels like 100 kilos, 220 pounds. It's not like when you go on the Smith machine and you're shoulder pressing, for example, and you're lifting 100 kilos like you would lift 60 kilos, for example, on an empty bar. Nothing like that of the sorts. When you squat, as I am doing now, 140 kilos, which is 310 pounds. It feels like 310 pounds. It feels identical to it. I can't tell the difference. The only difference is because of the sort of, you can see the back that I've got my back on there, which is like a bit of a bench, that sort of leather cover, that supports you a lot. It takes a lot of weight out of the lower back, a lot of the stress that you would normally get on an empty bar, on a free bar. So people would ask, well, why would you do hack squat when it feels exactly like squat? Why not do squat? Well, that's the reason. If there's for example, you want to take a bit of stress off the skeleton, or you need to, like I did because of injuries, then it's a fantastic alternative. If I could do real squats, I would be. But anyway, enough of that, guys. There's 180 kilograms on the bar now. 180 is 400 pounds. And it feels nice. I mean, on the bar, when I'm psyched up and ready to go and raring, I can do 10 reps on that. We'll see how many I can do on this at another week, right? But at the moment, all I'm doing is just testing this equipment, because for me, I always do free weights. Just interrupting myself, guys. There's 200 kilograms on the bar now, 440 pounds, okay? But I always have done in the past free weights. Never would I touch this when as I say, I have squat as an alternative, but now squat's not an option. I'm doing this. So this is me just testing. I'm doing a heavy phase, sort of, see how much the weight feels, see if it feels like it should feel, and it does. So it's got the thumbs up from me. And so when I train squat now, it should be about once a week, once every 10 days. I'm going to be using that every time. Fantastic piece of equipment. Now, after doing that, I did feel a little bit stiff around the lower back, and stiff just generally speaking. I always stretch at the beginning of every workout. I'd forgotten in this workout, so instead I thought I'd do it now. I was a little keen. Just prior to that hack squat, I did actually do some leg extensions and warm up. I didn't film it because I didn't think there was space to put the camera at the time, but also because, well, it was a warm up. It's nothing really I need to show you about, but you'll see some leg extensions in a minute. But I just wanted to share with you here, guys, that you know the importance of stretching. I stretch in every workout, if not once, twice. okay, every workout, and it might be a quick little bit like I'm doing on here. I'm not doing a lot. It's a sort of all body stretch. As you can see, I'm doing my legs, I'm doing my upper body, my shoulders, everything. I'm just doing it just to try and keep some level of mobility, and especially once the muscles are already warmed up, because I've done a little bit of workout in that at the moment, it just helps prevent injuries. That's why you stretch, to prevent injuries. That's really the only reason, and also increase flexibility. But as a weightlifter's perspective, it is to prevent injuries, and believe it or not, being flexible, it makes you stronger. A more flexible muscle is able to lift a weight over a much wider range than it would otherwise do, a much bigger range of movement, and it becomes a stronger muscle, certainly in the long term, if not in the short term. And you can see this is a lovely piece of kit. A lot of gyms, Precor again, actually, I must admit, Precor, they're very good. I normally recommend Hammer Strength for pieces of for equipment. Precor, there we go, it's a good piece of kit. I've got to remember them when I'm in another gym on the road. And what I'm doing here now is I've just stretched. Don't worry guys, there's more leg workout coming. It's just I wanted to show you that I do stretch in between my workouts, as well as at the beginning and at the end. I'm doing a bit of Pilates now. It looks like I'm a bit like I'm shaking the air. I'm not gonna put it any different, guys. I know what it looks like, but there we go. It's good for the back, and I've got to work my back, so there we go. You know, I've got to do what needs to be done. This is what the physiotherapist has told me will benefit me, both in the short term and long term. And so I will do it, and I will do it as often as I can, which is pretty much every day, or certainly every day that I'm down the gym, which is a good 3-4 times a week minimum. There are variants to the exercise, of course, and there was something sharp on that, man. That's why I'm looking down. I keep catching myself on something sharp, but this is a variation of the plank, and you'll see me do a plank in a minute. And you know what, guys? Normally, when I do the plank, I count in my head how long I'm doing, you know, and I sort of guess at how long it is. And but this is be a nice one. I'm actually timing it now. I'm just interested to see how much I do after all that other work, and after I'm not really putting a huge amount of effort in. I could go for longer, but I think I did 20 seconds. That's what I counted it in my head. So we'll see. We'll see. Wow, that's a 20-second mark there, according to my timer. I started 33 seconds past, and it was about 57. So yeah, about 23, 24 seconds. So at least that's good. I'm not counting too quick. At least the times I have in my head are actually better probably than what they would be. Now, this is me experimenting, guys. Normally I do my cardio at the beginning or at the end of a workout, but as you see, I thought what I might do is give my legs a rest. So what I've just done there is heavy. I've done a little bit of leg extension work, which you guys didn't see, and then I did a bit of hack squat work, or heavy hack squat work. So I kind of went up to 1 rep max. If you think about it, I've just squatted 200 kilos on the hack squat. So now I'm going in and I'm letting my legs relax a little bit, but at the same time, 200 kilos, doing 1 rep max, that isn't going to warm your legs up. This kind of work is, or high volume work, or reppage, or cardio, that's what warms the muscles up. So this is me now, after doing a little bit of heavy work, is stretching and warming myself up, doing my cardio, my compulsive cardio that I see is very important. There's no point being a weightlifter if you can't walk up the stairs right without getting out of breath. So this is me doing my compulsory cardio, which is a minimum of 500 metres on the rower. Now that's the distance I like to do, and I will do it several times. I won't just do it the once. Well, most of the time I do it the once, but if I want to increase the intensity of my workout, or dedicate an entire workout towards cardio, obviously I'll do multiple times, or I'll do 1,000 or 2,000 metres. I'll also will run, but running is something I don't do too often. The main reason is I'm 18 stone, guys, shin splints and everything like that. If you run long distance when you're big, it's not impossible. Arnold Schwarzenegger did marathon running and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, it's not impossible. It's just something you have to be a little bit more careful about, and something which, if you do on a regular basis, could mess up your joints or your bones. So, doing it on the rower instead, one advantage of training on the rower is body weight neither hinders you nor gives you an advantage either. It's obviously got a big belly that's going to get in the way, but regards your actual physical weight, your actual weight, it doesn't help or slow you down at the same time. It's not like running. I always used to say to the skinny guys who weigh 10 stone and they ask, why do I run so slow? I said, well, put an 8-stone backpack on your back and see how fast you run, because that's my body weight. That's why I don't run as fast as you guys. that was always my answer anyway, and for me that's quite a logical response. Now coming up, you see my leg extensions. This is something I did a little bit earlier before the hack squats, but this is me doing them again. I like to double up on my exercises sometimes. I started off easily at the beginning before my hack squat as more of a warm-up to warm up the knees, and this is me just increasing the intensity just a wee bit, making something out of it. And at the end, what you'll see after the extensions is I do something called frog jumps and frog steps, and that's me testing, have I done enough? If I can't do them, if I collapse when I'm doing them, then I've done a pretty good job. You know, I can end the workout. But if I can do more than, say, a couple of laps of frog jumps and frog steps and stuff, then I need to go back on here, and I would have come back on here. But as you'll see later, I actually collapsed whilst doing the frog jump things. So you'll be able to see what I do here is I vary. I kind of shock the muscles. So at the moment I've got quite a light weight on. I'm shocking the muscles. I'm introducing a variety of techniques, flushing, and you can see I'm changing where I'm holding the weight. I'm holding it at the bottom, holding it at the top, holding it in the middle. I'm doing complete reps. I'm doing half reps. And as you can see, I'm changing the weight. I'm constantly changing the weight. So I go from light to heavy, to heavier, and even heavier. And sometimes I go from light right to the full stack, from one plate to the full stack, you know, every plate possible, and back again. And I keep changing the weight. And what this is all to do is essentially all one set here. As you can see, this is to me one set. I'm not taking any rest. Just the time it takes to change the weights. And I'm shocking my muscles. I'm constantly hitting them with something completely different. If I'm doing a lightweight, then I do a lot of reps, and I do flushing techniques, and I do one-legged, single-legged leg extensions if it's particularly light, and then I do I do ones with 2 legs as well, and all that. I'm constantly changing the way that my legs are getting hit, and it builds up such an incredible pump training like this. It's very painful. You have to have quite a good mind sort of willpower to it to be able to do this, or you've got to have someone crawl like myself by your shoulder throwing you back on. I've had guys who are training with me at times where they've tried to come off and I've pushed them back on, and I've made them do it. I made them carry on until they're virtually throwing up, because the pain that you get in your quads at this point, you can see me rubbing my legs down. I'm in pain at the moment, and I'm touching my head because I'm getting a headache. This pain is incredible at times. If you do it right, leg extensions are seen as a lazy exercise by a lot of people. No, if you do this right, this exercise, this piece of kit will mess you up. So that was the first set that you've just seen here. This is set number 2. Normally I only do 2 sets because 2 sets is all it takes. But if I'm feeling particularly cool, or I'm having a good day, or maybe I'm just being a bit on the lazy side regards to the intensity, I'll do 3 sets. But essentially I'll do as many sets as I'm required to mess myself up. But you can start to see I'm struggling there. Now that's the full stack that I'm lifting, just so you guys know. I can't go any heavier there. Oh, my apologies. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, I was actually about to give up. I did the full stack, and I thought, well, I've done my 10 reps on the full stack. I've had enough, and I went straight back in there. You can see, even people like myself who are fairly conditioned and disciplined in the mind, enjoy what they're doing, want to give up, and you can see there from what I just done now. I was going to walk away, but I threw myself back on. Sometimes even the most experienced and dedicated and passionate people do break. So I've put it down light, and I'm doing single ones, so you can see single leg extensions. Now I'm doing double. That when it was starting to get a little too hard to do singles anymore, and I'm now putting it back up again. Punishment, you see, punishment. If you get off with me, and it's the same with I treat myself the same as I would anyone I would coach. I punish you, and I'm punishing myself here. I'm putting myself through it, and just to prove that, upcoming, you'll see my frog jumps, my frog steps. You'll see just how fucked I am. You can see literally that I'm incapable of doing what I'm doing here. So I started with frog steps, now I'm doing frog jumps, and I've got a couple of laps that I do. There's a line on the ground which marks out the distance that I want to travel. There you go, I'm already stumbling, but I managed to get all the way back, but now I want to see if I can complete the second lot of reps. I mix up the steps and the jumps together. If I can do 2 full laps, that's not good enough. I'm not fucked enough. I've got to do it again. And as you see, hang on, yeah, I've collapsed. But, you know, willpower, determination, I want to try and do this because I want to do more leg extensions. I enjoy them. I'm trying to prove to myself I can do it, but I can't. I'm gone, and you just see I'll stumble towards the camera, guys. I can barely walk, and that's the end of the workout. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you soon.